So, welcome back to Drop an Anchor podcast, everyone.
Welcome back.
We're back in the studio. Whew, Lord.
Man.
So, if you've been following us, you know there's been some major disruptions in our lives right now.
In everybody's lives right now.
Everybody's lives in the community that we're from. And we've shown you little tidbits here and there along the way, but we're finally able to come back in the studio. So we'd like to talk about it and let you know how we're doing and what happened.
Right.
But first,
I would like to say, if you haven't seen those tidbits, please make sure that you go check them out so that way you can see us along this journey. But like, share. I ain't been here so long, I forgot what I'm supposed to say. What's my job? Like, share, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications.
Absolutely.
And if you are in need of any podcasts, I lost my balance. If you are in need of any podcasts,
Support, work. Look,
any
you guys, it's been a minute.
Right? Photography, Destiny Cloud Sessions is your go-to, and we have all the information linked below.
Okay.
I need a drink.
Man, so let's just get into it.
Mm-hmm.
On the night of January 7th,
Yes.
2025, our lives completely changed.
Completely.
We were devastated. If you haven't heard about it, the Eaton Fire struck our community of Altadena, California, in a real way. And we are like still
trying to
in awe, trying to put the pieces back together. But
I'm over the 7-day trial
right
for 2025. Let's take it back.
It was
Start
completely
over.
crazy. So we have wildfires every year. It's just one of the natural disasters that comes along with living in California in the area that we live in. But this one was different. This one came with 100-mile-an-hour winds. It came with blackouts. It came with an inability to fight this particular fire. So what would have possibly been a regular fire, like regular if there's such a thing, that we watched on the mountain get extinguished, that didn't happen. So about 3:30 the morning of the 8th.
Let's back up.
Oh.
Because first of all, I believe I called you that morning because we were doing some planning for my birthday party that never happened.
Well, yeah, okay.
And you told me that your power was out and asked me if my power was out. And I was like, no, my power is, remember, your power went out.
I don't even recall this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just remembering, that did
was
happen.
at like 8 o'clock or something in the morning.
Right.
Your power was out, but mine wasn't.
Right.
And then I think you wanted to come over to my house and shower and stuff.
Right.
And by the time I got back up to my house to let you in, you said your power had came back on.
Right.
And then I remember at 5 o'clock p.m. on the 7th.
5:17, 13, something like that.
p.m. on the 7th, I got a call from my husband saying that the power was out.
Right.
And to be safe driving home because the winds were crazy. Now, mind you, I'm at work all day. And so I had no idea how bad the winds were.
Right.
So that's how it all started.
Right. So power goes out, another normal thing when we experience the winds. They were very, very hard, but we've had that before as well. So when our Santa Anas come in, there's a chance we lose power.
Right.
So we didn't think anything of it. My husband and I are sitting there trying to buy time, like, okay, let's play some games until the power comes back on.
So hold on. So I'm at work. I'm about to leave work and I'm contemplating, am I going to go to the gym? Am I not going to go to the gym? I'll be mad if I go to the gym and the power's out. And I'm like, you know what? I get in the car, I walk from work to my car, and the winds almost blew away a whole 170 pounds. Don't
judge her. don't do it.
And I was like, I'm not driving over there. This is dangerous. I need to get home. I got home and it was pitch black, and I said, why'd I come here? And so I called you And you was like, "Oh, we having drinks.
Yeah,
we
come
playing
on
games.
over. We
Come
just-
over." And
yeah.
I'm like, "But it's dark."
Right? I was like, we have lights in here. We got the lanterns,
Yeah, I
you know.
remember that. Y'all was in party
Right,
mode.
but
We gonna make this a fun night.
Exactly. It's just regular.
Yeah.
You know, so, and then we see the fire and it's on the ridge and that's normal too.
Yeah, because I got a call from one of my employees and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm fine. Why are you asking?" And she was like, "The fire's by your house." And I was like, "Really?"
Right.
And I went outside and looked and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's over there."
Right.
Normal.
But at some point, it was going up the ridge and not coming our way. And I'm sorry, we're still in disbelief because it has never come down
This
the
far.
mountain. So I guess in the middle of the night, well, I'll take that back. We did see the wind shift and we saw the fire start to come across the mountain. But at some point,
it started.
it
I
started
remember,
coming
Yeah, I
down.
remember
Yeah.
telling Frank because you said you had called and was like, make sure you get all of your documents,
Right.
put everything in the car, anything that's important. We've already got everything in the car. Make sure you do that. And I was like, "Frank, I think we might need to leave."
Right.
And
But
he
I
was,
still really didn't think.
yeah, he was like, "Oh, it's over at JPL now. It's
Yeah.
past us." I was like, "I don't think that's how this works."
Right.
Like those fires jump. Like, do we need to leave? He
Right.
was like, "I'm going to bed." I was like, "I'm sleeping with one eye."
Okay.
I'm
So
sleeping with one eye
we
open.
also went to bed, you know, because by that, like I said, it was going the other way.
Yeah.
And then it just came, and when it came, they're calling it like a fire NATO
Yeah.
because it came down so quickly and so aggressively that once one house caught, it just kept going
kept
and
going.
going and going. Long story short, our entire community is decimated. I lost my home. 3 of my immediate family members lost their home. When I tell you burned to the ground, to the ground. All of my neighbors, our community, it's decimated. If you haven't seen it, Google the city of Altadena, California, and you can see the amount of devastation that occurred. Which is why we haven't been in the studio.
Yeah.
For those people whose houses did remain, they are few and far between. Foxxcee is one of them.
Yeah, so what happened with me is, so I remember calling, I called you and your phone was dead. But I remember you told me that your phone was about to die and we had no power, so we couldn't charge the phone. I called Mark and I could tell y'all was having a good old time. I said, "It's time to evacuate." He was like, "I ain't going nowhere." He said, "I'm not leaving my house." I said, "There's a mandate. We got to leave." He said, "There ain't no mandate. We ain't going nowhere." And I was like, don't nobody want to go nowhere.
No, because you
Yeah,
know,
and-
they've said it before. Evacuate. We're like, okay, you know, we'll go for a couple hours and we'll be back.
Yeah, so then I was like, okay, well, Frank's sleep. They down there playing cards or whatever they doing. I'm about to start packing some stuff just in case. And so I ain't gonna let me tell you what I packed.
So, mind you, we're in fight or flight survival mode because it's never been this close and it is coming. So, Miss, I'm going to pack a few things. What did you end up with?
I packed like 4 Gucci purses. I was like, just in case, I could probably resell these. I packed about 4 Gucci purses. I packed about 20 pair of socks and about 15 pair of booty shorts. I have no idea. I was running through my house, grabbing stuff, and that's what I ended up with. And then I remember I had a phone call. And it was my dad. And he was like, "Where are you at?" And I was like, "I'm at home." And he said, "Open your door." I opened the door and I'm like, "What are you doing here?" And he said, "I was just evacuated." Dude, you live like 3 blocks up. Why would you come here? If you gotta leave, I gotta leave. Like, he was like, "No, it's cool. It's not gonna come down this far. Give me a blanket and a bottle of water." And so he's on the couch with his friend with a blanket and a bottle of water, and I'm panicking. Like, let me get some, and I'm just trying to grab stuff. I'm throwing stuff all over the house. And then I'm like, okay, don't nobody else seem like this is important. So maybe I'm gonna try to get back in the bed and just and go back to bed. I lay back down. I'm like sleeping with one eye open because I'm like, these candles is lit. Like, I don't know what's going on. And all of a sudden, I hear on the megaphone, the police said, the fire is here. You got to get out.
Right.
I was like, what? And so I went and I opened the front door and it was pitch black.
Right.
You could not see nothing through the smoke. And there was a palm tree across the street that was on fire, and the embers was coming, was blowing because the wind was so hard. And I was like, we gotta go, the fire's here. My daddy looked outside and seen the embers coming. He was like, I just got my car painted, I'm out of here. I was like, I think my daddy just left me. And so I'm trying to call you. Your phone is still dead. I'm trying to call Mark now. His phone is dead. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'm waking up Frank like, we got to go. So we go outside, start putting stuff in the car. And I'm like, I'm out of here. And my husband and my son was like, I can't leave this house.
Right.
I was like, I was like, we got insurance. We got to go.
Right.
So I get in the car. They refuse to leave. I get in the car, I start driving to my daughter's house, and I call like Easy in tears. And she's like, Mom, what are you talking about? And I'm like, the fire, everything, the whole Altadena is on fire. Like, and she was like, what are you talking about? She was in a deep sleep. And I'm like, I just need to come to your house. She was like, Mom, just come. I get up to her house and she gone. And so I'm asking Natalie, like, where is my daughter? She's on your way to your house. I'm like, what? So if you haven't seen the footage, you got to see the footage because...
And we'll put it in.
Yeah, because Easy, Frank, and Darnell saved my house and about 4 others. No firefighters were there whatsoever. Easy came with a power washer, fire extinguishers, and a shovel, and was shoveling dirt. She was putting out fires with her feet, and when I kept calling, like, why are you there? Why are you there? You need to leave. And she's like, I'm not leaving this house. I'm going to save this house. And I was like, well, I need you to go down there and check on Ellyn. And she was like, okay. And
this is currently what's happening right now. This is across the street, bro. Bro, I'm nervous. I can't leave my mama's house, bro. Is it off? Where'd you get this in? Across the street. Get all these sparks. It's going down. Oh, right here. 2. It's, get over here. Right here, right here, right here. Let's go stomp this shit out. Stomp it out. Stomp it out. Fuck, I gotta get out. Is there a water hose over here? Oh, this fire's back. Okay. The dirt. Come on. Oh, fuck. All right. This has to be good. Fuck. All right. Shout out to this shovel. What the fuck is that? Right here, we gotta get this out. Oh, shit.
Get out of here.
Oh, God. Come on. Come on. Oh. It's almost out, though. It's almost out. This is the tree that's causing that fire. It keeps coming. I found the hose next door. We just got this fire out. And we just got to keep saving them because there's so many trees here. And that's what's causing the fire. And this fire is back. Fuck, 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 fuck. I can't even see. Make sure you get the tree, Frank! Oh my God. Jesus Christ. The fire has gotten so bad. It's made it to like really close. And we might need to take everything out. I just pray that this house doesn't go down. It's my mama's house, the house I grew up in. My whole face is like black trying to fight off the fires. My eyes hurt. I barely can freaking breathe. This is what the freaking street looks like here. It's okay, guys. It's okay. You're okay. And then, oh my God. No, their house is on fire. Oh my God. There's on fire.
And
It's
that's
too late.
like when my house, well, when I noticed the fire, like when they first said get out, because I heard the
On the megaphone, yeah.
And so I run outside, and I'm more worried about my neighbors because they have health issues and
Right.
everything. And I'm trying to see through the smoke. It's black. If they're out, I don't see their cars. So I'm like, okay, cool. So Mark is outside trying to water the house down at this point and save the house. But the neighbor's palm tree was
thing.
ablaze, and you could see the embers just falling like fireworks.
Man, and those embers were
and
coming.
they were coming, and you could see little spot fires catching.
Man, when I went out there, I was like this.
Yeah.
Like the
And
embers
so-
were coming.
Exactly. And so now you're in a panic mode because it just got real.
Right.
You know, and so I'm running in the house. I can't find my purse. I can't find my my phone. And I had put them there. And I know just in my mind's eye, they were somewhere, but it was so dark.
Right.
And we're running around like crazy trying to get out of there. And so I finally just said, okay, I got to go. So we jump in the cars, and well, thankfully my sister and my son, you know, were like, come on, get out, you know. And so we jump in the cars, and we're caravanning out, and we go to our designated meeting spot, and I go there, and I'm so uneasy that I leave.
And go back.
And I go back
Yeah.
to my house. And so I go back in the house, but why we lock the door when we live? Like I'm
normal
I'm
habits.
using the key to get in. The neighborhood is on fire, and I'm in the house.
Right.
I later found out Mark had gone back to the house too. I was trying to find my phone and my purse. I needed my stuff.
And you was ready before anybody
But
was
that's
ready.
what I'm saying. I had it sitting on the table. I was ready.
Yeah.
But I think what happened in retrospect was I had my phone
With that
on
strap.
a strap, and I think I had the strap and I had everything, so I assumed it was in the car, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
Just the strap was, so it had fallen off. But a couple of times I went back and forth in the house, and then on my last effort, I went into the office to try to grab all the pictures and mementos, and they were in that case. And when I grabbed it, the case, it fell apart.
You was like, okay,
So
I
I was just like, okay, I'm about to die because it's on fire.
Right.
My neighbor's house is on fire, and I'm in the backyard trying to get pictures. So I just had to say, okay, I got in the car that time, and I knew that was going to be the last time that I saw my house, because my neighbor's house across the street, they were gone. The houses on either side of me were burning. And at that point, my house hadn't caught, but I knew it would because the trees and everything that was around it.
And it
So,
was inevitable with that wind.
I mean, it just was. It was inevitable. Really, really heartbreaking.
Man, I'm still trying to wake
You know,
up from this dream.
it's still very, very surreal. And then I went and parked in a parking lot across
At the
way.
taco place.
Yes. And so I can't quite remember how long I was there, but I think I may have dozed off. And when I came to, it was pitch black outside, so I'm thinking it's like 5 a.m. I think it was like 7:38, something like that. But it's so black because of all the smoke and soot and everything. And I'm looking, and I'm just like, okay. And but by the way, while I was sitting there, I could see my house burning.
I was gonna say you
I
watched
could
all
see
of the
it.
houses
I watched
burn.
it, and so I'm just sitting there. That's why I don't remember, because I know that my brain is trying to protect
No,
me
I
from
remember you
everything
told
I
me you
saw,
were
but
like,
I watched it,
and your house was the last to go.
because the other houses had already burned. So when I saw it spark up, it's like, that's my house.
Yeah.
I was like, that's my house. It's going. And after a while, I drove down the street, and I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. But in the moment, what was so crazy was I saw firefighters, like the captain and in his truck, and they're driving down the street as it's happening, and nobody's doing anything. I could not comprehend that.
Oh.
Like, because I just knew somebody was coming with a hose and they were going to put my house out.
Yeah, they were up on my street as well, and Easy was telling them it's that tree that's causing the fires, and he was like, "There's nothing that we can do."
And
While they're using the power washer, they're
Right.
using the extinguishers, they're doing everything.
and they're sitting there,
They're sitting there, and
and nobody ever came. Nobody. And I'm like, do I call 911? No, because they know the whole neighborhood's burning down. So what difference does it make? I just didn't know what to do. And then I drove past, and my heart broke.
yeah,
My heart broke, and I'm like,
my heart still breaks having to see.
I can't
that.
believe. I can't believe. Now, at that time, I didn't know the other devastation that was
entire
happening.
city?
Exactly. I just knew that my house,
Right.
you know? And so I drove down, and I'm like calling my son, like, I'm in this driveway, come, you know. And so he came, and, you know, he hadn't seen it at that point. And so he didn't see it until like a day later, a couple of days later. And it broke my heart, because that was the only home he's known. And he just broke all the way down to his knees. And I'm just like, son, it's going to be okay. It's not okay, Mom. It's not okay. I said, it's going to be okay. We're going to be fine. But at that moment, everything you own, everything, in the matter of a couple of hours,
Gone. And I had it, I mean, now I can't say worse, because I do still have a home, but a little bit worse because I did not know.
right.
Like, you actually saw
I
it,
did
and
know.
at this point you knew,
Right.
and you, at that point, you got to deal with that. I'm at my daughter's house, and she finally comes back, and Frank comes back, and I don't know if my house is still there or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
And
they
then
did
over the next few days, you still didn't know, because we couldn't get up there.
Couldn't get up there. The National Guards came up there and everything, but I was like, on a daily basis, I don't know what's going on. I
Right.
don't know if my house is there or not, and that was hard to deal with.
And then the rest of the family also didn't know, because when they left, their houses hadn't burned.
Right.
I saw mine, so I knew. But the next day,
Yeah.
that's when we found out. My mom, my two sisters, myself, all of our houses had burned to the ground. And none of us were able to really get much of anything out of it. And it's just, not only did our houses go, but
Everybody.
entire neighborhoods, entire streets, entire
Community.
Like, you
The
can't even
businesses.
imagine. The schools burned, the businesses burned, the
Post
grocery
office,
store,
the
the
grocery
post
store.
office, everything, the gas stations, McDonald's, everything is gone. And so now, as a community, we're trying to figure this thing out.
That is one thing that I can say positive about this, is when I say the community of Altadena pulled together,
Yeah.
the community
Pulled together.
They pulled together, because it was 17 of us with how many dogs and how many cats and how many?
Okay. So how
we
many
had-
dogs we have? Three dogs.
Was it 4 dogs?
No, 4 dogs.
It was 4 dogs,
4 dogs,
2 cats,
2
and a
cats,
parrot,
and a bird.
and 17 of us
Yes.
with nothing.
All
And,
of us lost everything. So
Well, but there were so many donation centers, and just the whole community just came together,
and it was an outpouring of love and support.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen that in a very long time. in the moment, it was very, very tragic. But on the other side of it, the restoration and the, what's going to come
Right.
is going to be amazing. We're still in the throes of it. A lot of people don't have insurance. A lot of people don't have the proper support. The
And
thing
a lot
about
of people have sucky insurance.
yeah, well, she can attest to that. But the thing about the community of Altadena, it's so close knit. We're so interwoven because there's generations of people who have been there. Altadena was one of the first communities where African American people could purchase homes and not be discriminated against. And because of that, this is where a lot of people settled, and the grandparents and the great grands
Right.
and they passed homes down, and people bought there because it was affordable and it was a great community, and it still is. So
And it was for us.
yes, and it still is. Even though it's a melting pot, it still is for us. And I wouldn't choose to live anywhere else. But right now, the community is devastated. I encourage you to look up the history. I encourage you to see what's going on. I encourage you to support, because our people in the community need a lot
They
of
need a
support.
lot of support still to
They
this
need
day.
a lot of mental health support, a lot of financial support. We're rallying around everybody. We want to rebuild. We don't want people to come in, vultures to come in and try to, take over the property. So we have a lot of elderly in our community as well. And so everybody just needs
And that's what
support.
makes it so hard too, because a lot of those elderly people had retired, had already paid off their homes,
Right.
and all of that, and they
were
lost it
living
all.
comfortably. And now some of them are at the convention center
Yeah.
and don't have anywhere to go, and they don't know what to do. So
And this is what, a month and a half in,
Yeah,
I'm
we're-
still
we're-
displaced, and my house
Right.
is still standing, and I'm still displaced. So
because even the people who, if your home didn't burn down, you couldn't go there. It's not livable. There are so many things that need to be done to make sure that your home is safe. And then on top of that, some people don't want to live there right now because of the amount of devastation that's surrounding their
Right.
property.
And I think about that too. Like, I used to walk in the mornings, walk the neighborhood and stuff. I'm like, there is no way that I could go and see that. I barely want to drive past it.
And
not even
northern
probably safe.
Altadena is completely decimated. Like, there's nothing there. The parks, the everything. The kids have all had to be moved to schools in Pasadena because we don't have, any schools. We don't have any stores. We don't have our restaurants. We don't have anything up there now. Service stations, just everything. So we can't really describe what it's like. So we are going to show you.
Yeah.
So take a look.